So what do you think would happen if you tried to call Google or Facebook with the problem that you're having? Well, I'll tell you, you're not going to get very far because you're not going to find a number. And if you do call, they're not going to talk to you. But knowing that there's a business opportunity in there, I love talking about business opportunities. Here's a great idea. There's also this incredible railroad that I found in Switzerland. I got to get myself over to Switzerland to do it, but I want to show that to you. And someone asked a bunch of elderly people about life advice, and the results were absolutely incredible. I'm excited to tell you about that. And there's this museum that's inside of an elevator in New York City. So let's get started. Let's talk about the first issue that I know you've all had, because I've had. Let's say, once again, I'm using Google and Facebook as an example here. If you're struggling to find something and you can't find the answer on YouTube, wouldn't it be fantastic if you could just pick up the phone and call Google or call Facebook? That's never going to happen. And the customer phone number is, the idea of having a phone number to call is going away rapidly. It's very hard to get someone on the phone, and especially for something like a social media company, that's never going to happen. So I was thinking to myself, hey, why doesn't someone start a business where they become the unofficial phone support for, let's say, Google or Facebook? I was like, that's genius. How exactly would that work? Let's talk about it. I don't know if you're looking to start a business, but follow along here. Maybe this is something that it doesn't seem like it'd be that difficult, actually. All right. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a phone number for people to call. I'm sure you've seen all those commercials about, call now, 99 cents a minute or $2.99 a minute or whatever it is. But there are services that you can get to just that give you all the technology behind it, like the payment processing, the call routing, the what else is it? Like, the first minute free. There's services that give you all of that for a very low price. So I found one called Voice Stamps. I don't know if they're, the best one out there, but it has a lot of the things that you would need for this idea. So for example, and they're really smart actually, they showed an earnings example. So let's say that you charge $2.99 per minute and the call lasts for 30 minutes. So basically it says total sale, $2.99 times 30 minutes, $89.70. Now, there's fees and merchant gateways and all that. So basically, on a 30-minute call, you can make $80. At the end of it, it's $80.29. We'll say $80, right? That's amazing. Especially, think of all the, I don't know, I'm sure it's happened to you, the older people, the seniors in your life that have maybe needed to ask you help to do something. Well, there's some people that don't have those people to call. This is who this would be for. And I see a lot of potential here. So basically on 30 minutes, let's round and let's say $80, right? So that means for every hour, that's basically $160. But imagine if you had like 100 sort of support people answering these phones. Imagine the profit on that. And there's a market there. I mean, people of a certain age, don't know how to use certain technology, and this would help. All right. Let's talk about this package. So I was like, well, how much does this cost? I've never looked into this. So it's basically $800. This is for they have different packages. This is one I think would be the most applicable. This is the advanced line. It's $800 setup and $169 a month. You can get up to 999 agent extensions. Imagine that. Imagine the profit on that if they were all busy. They have auto attendant menu options, live call transfer, set any rate per minute, multiple rates supported, hold queue, all that. So basically, you can have a large part of the technology of a business you want to start for $800 a month and $800 setup fee, and then $170 a month. It's great, but you need more than just that, though, right? So that's number one, is you need to get a phone number. I came up with, get help now. So let's say that you could do that, whatever the numbers would, they do that. Like you see a phone number and then it's like the numbers underneath it. Come up with something that's easy to remember the words, like get help now. And then try and buy that domain name. So gethelpnow.com, it's probably already taken, but something like that, so that the number matches the domain. I think that's really important. And the second thing you're going to need for this is a screen sharing system. So imagine someone sitting on their computer not knowing how to do something on Facebook, but they can't really articulate what it is. So you need to have a way for them to initiate a screen sharing session and then to share, typically screen sharing sessions, they give you like a special code, right? So give that special code to the phone attendant so the phone person can see the person's screen. So you obviously need the phone number, but screen sharing is right there, close second. And then of course you have to find a bunch of smart internet users. You might know a lot of these people that might want to make some extra money on the side. Of course, this could be done at their house, or it could be done anywhere. They just need to understand how Google works, how Facebook works, things like that. And I was thinking to myself, how would you pay them for this? And I was like, why don't you just split it 50-50? Seems reasonable, right? Because if you did that, then what I would say it's about $160 per hour per person, right? So say, all right, we'll give you $80 an hour. How many people do you know make $80 an hour working from their computer from anywhere? Exactly. I know. And two other things that I thought would be really useful for marketing and promotion, it would be have a promotion where it's the first 2 minutes free no matter what, right? Because some people might call, they might be afraid like, oh, this is a really tough problem. But if you call and we get your problem solved in the first 2 minutes, it's free, right? I think it's a great promotion and it helps people feel better about the whole thing because they have to enter their credit card number in. And then I was thinking video testimonials for this would be super, super important. So what if, let's say, any call under 10 minutes? What if any call under 10 minutes, you wrote to that person and said, hey, I hope you got a lot of value from this. Will you give us a video testimonial? We'll refund your money back. So essentially be free, right? So that way you can build video testimonials of people that are happy with your service and all you're doing is essentially reimbursing the person and just paying the telephone support person for their time. Now, of course, there's more to this, but those are the main pieces I see with this business. Seems like it might work. There is a market there for people to get help like this. And big companies are useless when it comes to phone support like that. Okay, so let's say that you do this and you have tons of money to spend. Where are you gonna go? How about this? In Switzerland, there is this absolutely incredible railroad system called the Glacier Express. I have some information on my phone, but it has sort of glass on the sides and on the top, and it goes through these incredible mountains and rivers, and there's snow, and there's wonderful food, and it goes over these bridges. So it says the route that takes you through I'm going to screw this up, the three canyons of Valles, Uri, and Gurbergen. I don't know what that means. I'm sure that's jacked up a lot. So it's 8 hours of sheer pleasure for your eyes and your palate too. I've heard of St. Moritz, right? I know, but they have this video too, and it's absolutely incredible because Switzerland is beautiful all by itself. The trees, and there's these, so the railroad like goes through these, not a cave, but like a tunnel through the mountain. And of course you have the big mountains with snow. But as you're on this train, it's all glass on the sides. So you have this amazing view of Switzerland for 8 hours. I'm not sure of the price, but whatever the price is, I would absolutely do it because you're not going to get views like that any other way other than on this railroad. So next time you're in Switzerland, go on the Glacier Express because I certainly want to check it out. All right. So Sahil Bloom, he's sort of a business guy, investor guy. And what he did, and I actually have a note here. So he said, every year on my birthday, I like to conduct some interesting exercise that will push me to grow in a new way. This year, I asked a number of 90-year-olds a simple question. If you could speak to your 32-year-old self, what advice would you give? Right? So the responses he got totaled over 1,000 years of lived experience. And some of these are absolutely incredible. So I'm just going to read you a few of these, but definitely go to sahilbloom.com and search for this post. It's great. So for example, I'm going to read you some. Now and then break out the fancy china and drink the good wine for no reason at all. Stop waiting to enjoy the finer things. If tomorrow is never guaranteed, find the time to enjoy it today. Great. Dance at weddings until your feet are sore. Don't let the fear of embarrassment stop you from having a ball. Dance proudly. Tell your partner you love them every night before falling asleep. Someday you'll find the other side of the bed empty and wish you could. That's deep, right? Treat your body like a house you have to live in for another 70 years. Invest in keeping the foundation and structure sound. A little bit of regular maintenance can go a long way. I mean, great advice. Just going to scroll down a little bit here. Always remind yourself that your track record for making it through your bad days is perfect, right? Because you're still here. You go through it. It says it's easy to lose sight of this when you're down. Zoom out and reclaim your perspective. It's great. If something has a minor issue, repair it right away. Minor issues become major issues over time. This applies equally to love, friendship, health, and home. The most damning lie you can tell is the lie you tell yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, how can you be honest with anyone else? Fantastic, right? Couple more and then we'll move on. Whenever you hug someone, make sure they are the one to let go first. Treat every hug like it could be your last. You never know when it could be. Taking no risk is the biggest risk you can take. Regret from inaction is always more painful than regret from action. Absolutely. So true. And it doesn't have to be perfect for it to be wonderful. Nothing in life is perfect, and that's okay, because wonderful is pretty damn good. There's so much more of it. Go to sahilbloom.com, search for this life lessons from 1,000 years. Great. Talking about great ideas. Let's say you were walking by an alleyway in New York City and you saw two people staring in little tiny windows of a metal door. You'd be like, what is going on, right? It'd be very strange to see people standing there. But what someone did was they created something called the, it's a funny name, museum. Like it's two M's at the beginning, and then two M's at the end, museum. I don't know why, but it seems fun. And what they did was they essentially took an unused freight elevator, cleaned it up, made it look nice on the inside, put shelves, and then put exhibits all on the inside. And the doors, sometimes they're open and you can actually walk in, but the doors have the glass panels on it so that you can, anyone, as they're walking by, can take a look and enjoy what's on the inside. Now, let's say that was the case. You go by and you're looking in here. I don't exactly know what there's usually a theme, right, to a museum. I don't quite know. I see a Dora the Explorer backpack. I see a floppy disk. I see what looks like perfume, what looks like maybe a fast food box, a stuffed animal. I don't know the story. But one of the things that they did that I thought was very interesting was they provided a 1-800 number. Was it an 800 number? A phone number. I don't know if it's 1-800 number. But they provided a phone number that you can, as you're standing there, you can call. And all they did was they recorded a message talking about the different items. Now, of course, I think you can expand on that and have a QR code system that gives you more than just the audio. But the idea is there, right? To provide more detail about the exhibits than someone can just sort of assume by looking at it. And it's all just in a literally an elevator. Another cool thing that they did was actually made a book about this, about the different exhibits in there, and so people can buy the book. Now, maybe you're a museum and you're looking at this, you're going, yeah, that's great, but how does that help me? Well, is there any reason why you can't find something maybe on the other side of town or the town over and have a little exhibit, take some of the pieces from your exhibit and put it over there, once again, across on the side of town, wherever it is, and let people enjoy the exhibits in your museum, but not physically at your museum. And that's all these people did. I don't know if there are unused freight elevators where you are, but it doesn't have to be a freight elevator, although it's a smart idea. Maybe just an empty storefront. You could ask a storefront that's not being used, hey, can we set up a little museum right here? And so it'll get your name out there, it'll get the exhibits out there. Seems like a win-win solution for everybody. I absolutely love it, called the once again, MM Museum with two M's at the end, the Museum. Genius idea. I love it. So, if you've ever wanted to travel but you haven't traveled, my wife and I are writing a book about our travels. This first book that we're releasing is going to be 1 year time that we've been traveling around the world. We're going to talk about our life in Florida, setting that up, dealing with COVID, because that's when we did this at the beginning, 2020, went to Aruba, went to Croatia, went to Italy, lived in Rome for a while, Montenegro, and then finally Greece, We lived in Athens for a while. We have some great stories. We saw a lot of things, and so we want to share that with you. So if you like travel, watch this show. I will let you know when the book is available. But right now, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.